Hi. One question has been asked in civil service mains examinations from research method, and question is here that how do the basic and applied researches differ? Explain how knowledge from the basic research helps solve practical problem. 20 marks in 2021. So in few minutes I will give you its outline. See, you need not to you know uh, create a big introduction, just answer directly. When you say that research is what? Research is a search for truth. In technical terms, it is search for valid knowledge. Search for valid knowledge. So you should add this one. Search for valid knowledge. Research is a search for truth. You should add. And who has given this idea? Kurlinger, because he is a well-known name. Cooks and Campbell. These names are important, though these people have elaborated this point. So I have mentioned this thing. This Cooks and Campbell are very important. So basic research is what? Basic research, when you conduct, then you are trying to find out the principles of something. For example, Skinner discovered the principle of learning, that how learner learns. Pavlov discovered that just on the basis of proximity, association developed between two things. So that is called classical conditioning principles. So out of basic research we discover what? Discover the principles, basic principle of happening, whatever thing happens. So here in psychology, basic principle of behavior and mental processes, how things work. Getting my point? So you can elaborate this thing, that basic principles. How, for example, in contrast, go in physics, you will find that Newton first law, second law. These are basic principles. So this is called basic research. Applied research is aimed at solving some practical problem. So applied research is is problem focused things. So applied research is conducted to solve some practical problem. Okay. For example, a child is not able to concentrate in this thing. What is the learning issue? Learning principle you have discovered in out of basic research. But child is not able to learn in classroom. What is the problem? Then here you want to solve this problem. So as school psychologist will try to figure out what is the problem. He try to use those principles to solve practical problem. Clearly, applied problem borrows a lot of things from basic research. Getting? So basic research and applied research, what are the key differences? If you analyze the difference, this has been asked in questions. See this, you differentiate something on common parameters. So what is the purpose? I have just said this thing, that knowledge for the sake of knowledge, knowledge for knowledge, means to discover principles. So basic purpose is to acquire knowledge, and in more precise term you can say to discover basic principles of something. For example, it could be in physics also, chemistry also, in psychology also. So I want to say this thing, that basic knowledge, this, and purpose is to solve problem, solve practical problem. Okay. So what is the approach? How you approach the things? See, here is when you take approach into account, the difference is that this is interdisciplinary. Suppose you are a student of psychology, you will be focused in the field of psychology, and in that also maybe you are conducting research on learning, some on perception. So you can see this thing. Fechner conducted research on psychophysics, and then so you are within the framework of psychology, you are using approach So all the framework, all the models that you use, all models you understand, model of explanations will be within that one, So you existing body of knowledge, you try to expand that thing. So knowledge for the sake of knowledge, and you try to you take intradisciplinary, but here you want solution, you don't want reason for that, reasoning and result, so you want result. So when need arises, it is it could be, see this thing, interdisciplinary. I have written in short interdisciplinary. You can understand this thing. Means in order to solve a problem of a child in a classroom situation, school psychologists may collaborate with neurologist, may collaborate with teacher, and then he himself, many other individual will collaborate, and then some practical problem could be solved. So try to understand this thing. Practical problem will not be very pure, or you can don't say pure, very homogeneous by nature. It may have heterogeneous nature, and so you need to take help of the experts from different field. So interdisciplinary, interdisciplinary. As far as time orientation is concerned, a practical problem, suppose some start, it is bound to terminate in some time. So time bound process, it is an ongoing process. Ongoing means university lab, every year students conduct researches in PhD degrees are there and all, you are conducting researches. It is an ongoing process. So if you analyze this thing, that overall basic researches and applied researches, basic researches, these things are important, that it is just to improve the knowledge base and discover the basic principles of behavior and mental process in psychology. And I have given example, as Skinner discovered that reinforced response is repeated, so that is operant conditioning principles. But that has been put into practice to solve many problems. But while solving problem, you need to collaborate with others. So this is the basic nature. You can expand in this line. Okay. Now take second part of the thing, that how basic knowledge from basic research help in solving practical problem. So generally what a student do, they will do that, take example from geology, and then other, you take example from psychology, because you are dealing in psychology, so give example from psychology. So suppose we are dealing with a problem, this child, the problem will be a specific, remember this thing, a specific. So maybe that this child is not able to concentrate and learn. Behavioral problem is there. Behavioral problem. I have given illustration. So in this case, what happens, that you are trying to solve this problem in classroom. Problem of this child is classroom. Then how basic result? Concentration. What causes problem? What is the cause of the poor concentration? You find that maybe that child is lower in IQ. That may affect. In general, IQ is also correlated with concentration. Okay. Maybe child is hyperactive. You will analyze and you will try to find out the solution of this specific problem. A specific problem. Remember, practical problem is a specific generally. And then you come to know, no, his IQ is okay. Then what is that? Maybe that child is suffering from dyslexia. It is a learning disability. Child is not able to write the thing, not able to answer the thing because teacher is asking in written. So child will feel frustrated and he develops some behavioral problem. See this. So in order to solve this problem, you borrow a lot, from different field. You may borrow from neurology, neurological model of IQ, for example, PAS and DAS model is there. Neurological model that you can learn from there. Neurologist will also contribute. Teacher, he can contribute. They can contribute that. What is the behavior of the individual in the classroom, and then psychological test for dyslexia and all all these things mix, then you will solve the problem. See the how knowledge of attention researchers in the basic field, how knowledge of learning problems like dyslexia helps in solving some practical problem that arises in classroom situations. So have you understood this thing? This is a very basic thing. So you need to tell with example or illustration that knowledge from basic things help solve practical problem, because as I have said earlier that while solving a practical problem, we often need to collaborate with experts from different fields. So this is point to remember. I think if you follow this line of answer, then you will get very good marks. And of course, give example from the same domain that you are dealing. If you are contrast, you may do. I have given example of physics, but sometime just take example from the same thing, and taking same example to make a difference, that is also very better thing. So I hope I made my point clear. In the next lesson I will discuss something else, video lesson I am talking about. Thank you.